everyone, CodeBlab here, and in this guide I want to show you how you can install Inspector and what you need to do to get it up and running. So we assume here that you already have a running node somewhere on your machine, and you will basically install Inspector in this tutorial right where the node is running already. So the first things we have to do is, like you see, I'm on a Ubuntu system. It's based on Debian, which is kind of important. If that's the case for you, you can just copy this command or this sum of commands and execute them all at once. So the installation is done. What this actually did is it installed several packages like curl, make, build essential, and also updated it to the most recent Node.js version, which is very important. With older versions you can run into problems. So it's really important that we first delete it here and then install one of the new ones. At least 10.8, I guess. After we have that, we can directly go to install Inspector. It actually only takes one line if you already have the precondition. So now that's done. This is basically already it. What I would suggest from my experience is to always run Inspector with sudo permissions. Like this, you just type sudo inspector, and this will make sure that you can really execute all the commands also on your node, that the node interactions or when you add neighbors, that this really works. So let's head over, open localhost 8732, and we basically reached the web interface of Inspector. The first part we have to do here is we have to provide some details about our node. Since the node is installed on this system, we can just type localhost in here. We also use the default port. If you use something other than 14265, you can basically add it like that. This field here is if you wouldn't have installed Inspector on this machine but on another machine on your network or somewhere else, and you would like to access your node like this. You have your custom domain, a port that is open in the firewall, and it's accessible over HTTPS only maybe, then you need this switch. Otherwise you can forget about it. Even if you have an HTTPS connection, as long as your node is running on the same machine as Inspector, you don't need to care about it. You just write localhost. Here you can define a password, whatever you think suits best. I will take, whatever you want here. And here we would need to enter the path of of our config file. As you see here, if this is my node, I have the iota.ini config with some of the neighbors and all that stuff. I guess you know it already. And what Inspector can do is it can interact with this file. If you add new neighbors on the fly over our interface, they can automatically be appended to the config file. So if you want that functionality, you basically have to copy the path over here. Let me just open a terminal, pvd. This would be the path where the file, where the file is lying. Okay. In the end, iota.ini, and with this path, Inspector will then be able to locate this file and manipulate it. And there is another field where you can define how you can restart the node. Since an Inspector allows you to restart your own node, so you don't need to interact with any console or anything, you need to provide the command here, systemctl restart iota in my case, probably in your case too if you followed the tutorial from iota.partners. Important, you don't need to add sudo in here, otherwise it will get corrupted, because we already run Inspector with sudo permissions, so don't repeat the sudo part here, even if you need sudo to restart that. If you're done, you can click submit and everything will be up and running, which I will cover in the next video. Thanks.